everyone, my name's Kaylin, and today we are going to be talking about self-love. Specifically, 3 things about self-love. The first one is why self-love is important. The second one is why it can be so hard at times. And the third one is how to go about growing your sense of self-love, or growing into a place where self-love comes a little bit more naturally to you. So the first bit, why self-love is important. I firmly believe that if we are struggling to love ourselves, then we are going to struggle to love other people. Because whether we like it or not, humans are actually relatively unintentional creatures when our emotions become involved. So if you're very hard on yourself and you maybe struggle to be gentle or empathetic with yourself, chances are that's something you take out on other people, probably without even realizing it, because that critical aspect of you is most likely very ingrained. Not a criticism, just a fact. And I bring up that point specifically because been there, done that, still kind of do it, still kind of working on it. So I think if we learn to have self-love and to learn have some of the qualities that come with self-love, like being gentle and empathetic with ourselves, being proud of our successes and proud of our failures because we are choosing to learn from those failures. I think with all of those qualities, that's to me, that's what self-love is. That's your base to self-love. That's what it's all wrapped up in. That with those things in place, we lead much more fulfilling lives because we're capable of managing and handling and loving other people a lot better. Best place to start is yourself, right? Love towards yourself. I think we would like to be able to live with ourselves, so I think we're all good practice for ourselves. That's my opinion. But yeah, so that's why I think self-love is really important. Now, just to note, self-love is a little bit different from self-care, while both of those things are very related. In this video, I'm going to talk specifically about loving ourselves and how that kind of relates to others and relates to other things in our lives. We'll definitely do a video series on self-care, but today we're just gonna focus in on ourselves. I'm asking you to focus solely on you, all right? So the second thing, why is self-love hard? While I don't have a problem with positive quotes that you see on the internet, because it's good to have those reminders. You're scrolling through Facebook and you talk about loving yourself and having a relationship with yourself and you're the best thing and you're the only thing it all comes back to in your life. Great to have those as reminders, but I feel like with a lot of those things, we don't necessarily talk about that. You have to learn to love yourself. You can't just flick a switch, snap your fingers, and ta-da! It doesn't quite work like that. Just like a lot of other things in life, whether it's skills, whether it's like physical skills, emotional skills, whether it's relationships, we grow into loving other people. We grow into skills. We grow into our strengths. Hardly anything in life runs on automatic here, and you don't just, happen to fall into something. So I'm not really sure why that's something we leave out. My guess is because it takes work. And we live in a world with a lot of instant gratification where people would love to have, again, be able to snap their fingers and have everything done for them. But self-love takes work. There was a time in my life where I really didn't love myself. I had made a series of decisions that I was very ashamed of, very not happy with, very not proud of, that really didn't feel like me, that didn't work for me. So there was a lot of self-loathing wrapped up in that. But I don't feel like that anymore. I was able to learn from those difficult lessons and learn how to make decisions and do things for my life that I do really love about myself. And making the good decisions that I make now, or the decisions that I'm happy with, have come from learning from these harder lessons or from these times in my life where I wasn't happy and didn't love myself. So I think that's one of the reasons that self-love can be hard, because we do have to learn what that is to us. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to learn what works for us and what doesn't. We have to learn about what kind of person we want to be so that we can fall in love with ourselves, for lack of a better way of saying it. But that's probably, the most basic way of saying it. And I will absolutely acknowledge that this is much easier said than done, but know that it is possible. If we all have anything in common, it's that we are all capable of growing and learning our emotional skills. Emotional intelligence is learnable. Empathy is learnable. And learning to love yourself is also a learnable thing. So now I'm going to go through how to grow to love yourself. Because I think that, again, this is something, we see the positive quote about loving yourself with no follow-up. No how-to, no why it's hard, no, I want to make sure on this channel that I'm acknowledging that stuff's a struggle, that learning can be hard, that sometimes we get things right away and it's awesome, and then other times, we're still here going, what am I missing? What am I not getting? So don't feel like you're in the same boat, because I feel like this is a popular thing, that we don't necessarily know how to grow into some of these things that we hear about. Oh, you should love yourself. Okay, well, how? What do you do? What are the steps? What are the tricks? What does it actually mean to love yourself? So I've kind of broken it down into 3 steps that I think help us move towards making decisions in our life where we love ourselves, or where we feel like we have a lot more self-love. I'll even throw a bonus tip in there for you. So at the bottom of our cake that we're going to build, let's say we have a tough life lesson. We went through something and it was either traumatic or very miserable, bad breakup, bad time at work, what have you. We all have those stories. You definitely did not like it. That's the point of this whole tier down here. So whatever that thing was, if you can learn from it, and if what you can learn is that you now know that there is something that you really don't like and it really doesn't work for you, then you're well on your way to discovering the second tier, which is what does work for you. So 2 things can happen, in my opinion. Maybe it's different for everybody, but for now, let's go with 2. You learned what doesn't work for you down here. So now you know what works for you up here. Sometimes it's not always that linear, though. Sometimes you learn about something that really doesn't work for you, and then you get up here and you're like, okay, but there's still like 3 different directions I can go in. The nice thing about this tier is that now you have the option to explore different things and have a lot more control and a lot more awareness over something. So if you had really bad dating experience down here, you probably learned something from that. So up here, you're capable of going, okay, had a really bad dating experience. Maybe let's not use Tinder anymore, or something like that. You use a different dating platform. Maybe you try and do it the old-fashioned way. Maybe you try speed dating. Maybe you try a different environment where, you are taking more control over the situation for what you need. So you can start to discover what works for you. So you either go from down here to discover something that doesn't work for you, to right away discover something that does work for you, or you'll spend some time on this tier discovering what does work for you, or what specifically about something does work for you. Once you've accomplished that tier, you can go up to the 3rd one, which is inviting more of that, or trying to have more of that in your own life. Let's use honesty as an example. If down here you had a relationship and there was not a lot of honesty there, you decided it doesn't work for you. Up here, you decided to do some discovery and discovered that not only does honesty not work for you, or not only does dishonesty not work for you in relationships, it also doesn't work for you when it comes to honesty with coworkers. But you've also discovered that it's not just about other people, it's also about you being honest. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm saying that maybe there's something that a coworker does that you really don't like, and yet you have never told them that they don't like certain jokes that they make, or what have you. So now what you're learning is honesty is one of your values. It's very important to you, and now you can start working on inviting more of that into your own life. Not only in the people that you surround yourself with, but also with yourself. And once you develop that skill and you start inviting more of it into your life, and you start working on it for yourself and within yourself, self-love is going to come from that. Because you value something, and you're not only encouraging it and trying to bring that into your life more in terms of your outside environment, but also within yourself. That builds integrity. And I think that's where a lot of self-love comes from. When we are able to identify something that we don't necessarily like about ourselves and go, you know what? Okay, I've decided that this about me right now doesn't work for me. So I'm going to figure out how to explore that. I'm going to figure out how to change it. Go do. Yes, again, it's not as easy as I just said, but when you know, having that self-awareness means you can go and do it now. So those are my 3 steps to kind of trying to end up in a place where you love yourself a little bit more. It takes discovery. It takes knowing yourself. It takes spending some time with yourself and spending some time discovering what you like and what you don't like. And as much as I had a time in my life where I was making decisions where I was really not proud of myself and really not happy and really not feeling like anybody else would accept me for some of the decisions that I made, looking back now, I'm not happy I made them, but I'm happy I had the experience to learn about things that really, really, really didn't work for me. Because those are things that have never appeared in my life ever again. And I have built on top of them. So I hope I'm a source of proof for you, to prove that if you do put in the work to be self-aware and to start inviting more of those things that you want into your life, that you think are lovable values and lovable qualities, you want them in yourself and in the other people in your life, that you will go and do that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. And of course, if you have anybody that you feel would take something out of this video or would be able to maybe call me on something and we can start a discussion, please share this with them. Till then, cheers.